some few questions actually. Duane, would I say you disagreed with Harold? With what Harold was doing, and you were forced to part ways, and you were excommunicated by by the person you are disagreed with. So I wonder whether you would excommunicate anyone with whom you disagree, with whom you have a divergence of views. Duane?
No, that's silly stuff. And I was surprised myself as I was with the corporation at the time that took place. And of course, that it's really not Harold so much. It's Joni. She's the controlling factor there. And, she created the worshiping and praying and all these things, a step at a time, the priest idea, the clergy, whatever. And you see what it's come to today. I see Joni on the real side. We've discussed some experiences here. Sandy recently had some. I had some a few nights ago, etc. Off and on she comes. She's seen what is going on here too, and it really wasn't disagreement. There was no disagreement. What has taken place since Paul came. There's a lot of ideas about things. It's just even when Paul was here, one of the issues that were created by people is the plagiarism stuff. And plagiarism's kind of an interesting thing, and I understand it altogether. But you see it out in the community all the time. You can say, well, gee, McDonald's created the original hamburger, and now everybody has hamburgers. Okay, so are they plagiarizing? So, again, it goes on, and mainly these ideas come from the business world, and these things are ignited almost purposely to create all the distortion, to keep people, unsettled about things, so they're easily controlled. And this is where we're at today. All this chaos that's created, and look at the governments, and especially the U.S. government. All this crazy stuff that comes out of the politicians and whatever. They create this on purpose. It's all an act. And so what do we do here? Do we take a look at this or whatever? We know why we're here. And more so than just being part of a religious or spiritual path or a goody-goody system or being good neighbors, but that, life's about survival. It's all about survival. And it's just very, very real. And our environment's being destroyed on a daily basis. And this isn't a mistake, or, it's reported that, oh, gee, this happened and we don't know why it happened. They know exactly why it happened. They planned it. It's all planned. And it's like, wake up and get real, and people stand up for themselves, etc. So one of the things too, Charles, that you can have fun at is contacting environmental groups. Because there are people that care, and the dark side sets up environmental groups too. They set up different situations too, because they play all sides. And so there's no guarantee, but it's just something. Just having the intent there to do something, because again, it's survival. We're fending for our lives here, you might say. All of us are. And we'll only be here a certain time, and that'll be it. And those that are here will still be left. So this is why I cover everything that I can like never before. But getting back to Harold, no, it wasn't about disagreement at all. It was very obvious that, I could see on the real side what's going on, and hear that none of this made sense. So even while I was in the corporation, I I did my own projects and whatever. I didn't follow along with what was going on. And I saw the control factor going, and I saw it getting worse and worse. And I was an initiator at the time, sixth, seventh initiate, and I was initiating people, and I would hear their stories, and they would be seeing the control too of the higher initiates, etc. And so again, you have a bigger bureaucracy in this, and I wasn't going to contest that. It's just that it came to a point that I was just through my own experiences, simply sharing that there's going to be a new situation here. Well, of course, the corporation, which is really Joni, she eventually got rid of the board members and everything, so it's just really her behind the curtain and Harry out front with the strings, puppet strings. And so basically that's it. It's just their show. So it came to that point. And so, then the new position came 2001. It was time. And still, that was a struggle, too. I had a small group, myself in my house, and they were having real side experiences and being shown, etc. It's always off the real side and what makes sense. And so the new presentation is the next step to where, it's no longer we just hang around and talk all the time, but we actually do something and we take on the challenge of the world. And through the years, it's become more so. And especially, again, we're living in this environment. And look at the skies every day. Most people have got chemtrail, poison, HARP. You're drinking bad water, eating bad food. Everything's bad. Everything's poisoned. And so at what point is it not going to work anymore? And again, life is about survival. It's not these cute spiritual ideas or being the good person or whatever. Yeah, you do those things accordingly, but realistically, you make sense of things. And I know it seems at times that, how I say things, it's a little bit hard. And, people question me. It's like, well, where's the love, Duane? And where's this or whatever? And I've written and said things on this. And yeah, but first comes survival. First comes making sense. So yeah, you can sit there and love each other while the governments of the world are poisoning everybody, but at the same time, you better decide to do something because, especially if you have children, they're the future, and there is no future. That's real. And so, because we're here, we're the real light. If we weren't here, this place would really be bad. And this is why I started all these things, like the university and the homeschool especially. I see that as so essential. And so just the basic idea, and these are the images of the children and what have you that Ava and I create all the time, creating all these ideas. And fortunately, we have Kelsey there that follows through, does the websites, contacts people, contacts the younger people, starts the new Skypes, etc. Again, it's survival. And this is where things have gotten really strange, to where it's just pretty words, pretty speeches. You look at the environmental conferences of the world and that, or the climate thing or whatever, and, it's premeditated baloney is all it is. It sound good things. It makes people think like, oh, they're doing something when they're really not doing nothing except making it worse. In other words, putting up a front to get your attention while behind your back, they're doing things to destroy things and control you. This is a game to these people. It's a real game. So, what we're doing is, at least we're doing something. And yes, there is a bigger picture, and it's a horse race to see what's going to come out first, them or us, etc. This is how it is because it's free will. It just gets very real. And like you're experiencing there, like Miriam, this was awesome. Miriam, when we first met Miriam, and within 2 or 3 months, she had 30, 40, 50 people there. It just springboarded in for years. And now all of a sudden, it's all dissipated. And I've seen other things like that too. And it's harder than heck to get it back. And yeah, we're grasping here to survive. And here comes 5G. And, they're marketing this all over the world as wonderful. And there's people right now going to the UN and other places and their governments and telling about this, but again, the people that are paid off, dumbed down, and threatened to say nothing, just keep doing it. And look at all the people that are out, and the businesses out there that are installing these things, and it's all lethal stuff, and they know it, and it's going to affect everything. It's nuts. This world is really nuts. And so I don't see where the pretty words are going to do it. The love factor, that's a personal thing, with your family and friends and whatever, and praying to gods that, control the people on the earth and all their demon friends. I don't see where that's going to do it either. And so again, all these ideas that float around that sound good, but really getting to the heart of things, sincerely getting real with each thing. And so that's my focus. And yeah, I'm not very liked, etc. I'm not looking to be liked. I'm not concerned. My privilege, I'm grateful to know what I do in my association with the real guides and Rebas are in that. So I promote them. They do the real side, but we're in the physical here. I'm very focused on a much bigger picture to where it's mission impossible. It really is. And so I take on that challenge. I've decided it. Claudia and I started it off with the Queen of Orion, and it's expanded huge from there. Not everybody knows at this time, but some people will get glimpses on the real side. We're trying to do something. Again, it takes agreement and trying to figure out our way through things. And at the same time, they see us on the real side too. And they're stopping every which way, just like Bob's experience a few weeks ago, to where he's flying the jet plane, and all of a sudden he has, confrontation there, and he has to take a right turn. Well, that's really how it is. And everything starts from the real side. As I decided the vessel projects, the boys got them done on the real side so that people have the opportunity, those that have the courage to step up, do the new you, and see more than just their personal life. They see the vessels on the real side. So all these ideas that have been created with myself and Paul and all this, again, people can go on the real side, and here in the physical, they just become distortions. So there was none of that. What others do is fine. I'm not concerned about it. I just do what I do and see who shows up and see if they have the courage to step up, because again, it's your life. It really is. That's why you came here. And I really don't like to say it, but it's time. And this is where I had Claudie and Sandy. I asked them because they're witnesses. I mean, I can say anything. I see it. I knew the deal, what was made when Harold did it with Marjorie. I knew it, but at the time, no big deal. But now the end result is, over the years that she passed on and went to the real side, the reptilians came and took her away. She spent her whole life here with the spiritual idea and being the goody good girl and doing all these talks and whatever, and had many followers. And now they're all the same. They're all handicapped. They're all imprisoned by the reptilians too. And so does that make sense that it gets worse? No, it doesn't. It's time to speak up. And I'm the bad guy. And a few times I kind of shake my fist a little bit at these knuckleheads that, just think that the love idea is going to fix everything. It's really not going to do anything at all. Yeah, love your children, love your dogs, love your neighbors, whatever. But when it comes to survival, I would say that comes first. Where does love as an idea, come when it comes to eating, drinking, breathing? Those things come first. Survival, shelter, etc. Yeah, then if you have time, you love, but for the most part, it's just a lot of struggle here. And so we've been, bombarded and marketed with the love idea from all these things, these passive paths, and it's kept everybody passive to the point that when it comes to real survival, people don't know what to do. They really don't. So the new presentation, as I've become more aware of what to do, it's to show people how to really survive through creation, because creation is not the la la land that people think it is. It is simply creation. We are here to, create certain things, figure out what's going on from that, and this becomes something that we wake up to better understand the true reality, and especially now that people have the real knowledge. So, yeah, Charles, all these ideas that come forth from others, etc. So I focus on what makes sense. I focus on the survival and the real side too. Yes, we have real side experiences, but also what makes sense here overall. Because you see, now we're into the isness. It's not a matter of higher and lower or different levels or whatever. We use these things as a start. These are the very elementary ideas. And again, Ava and I just created several new images. Uh, and the basic idea is creation is in your hands. And I'm constantly creating images that better demonstrate and show the reality of this isness instead of just a literal understanding to where people become self-convinced and stay one-dimensional, and they actually get worse. Yes, the world has gotten worse. These so-called, you look at the world and everything from religion, politics, business, etc., technology, it's all worse. You look at it on the real side, it's a disaster. It's just like these Star Wars movies and disaster movies. That's what it's really like. It's not, it's actually better here. You're safer here to get the understanding, because when you go to the real side, it's the reflection of this place, because it's such deception. That's where people go, and all of a sudden they realize, gee, where's the heavenly world? Well, you've so convinced yourself about this reality here, thinking that, okay, this has something to do with the heavens and the astral realm or whatever. Well, the reflection is no. This is a front here, and the backside is just like in the Matrix. It's not good. It's gotten worse because people agree to it unconsciously. So, yeah, I like to do the wonderful images and whatever, etc. But sometimes it also creates a misunderstanding that, there's not only that, so there's just a lot more to it. And this is where I really like the homeschool idea, because it's focused on the children. And just like I raised my daughter, I focused on the real side. And the children tell it like it is, to where the adults kind of twist it around, change it, or this and that, or whatever, add their little assumptions and what have you. Kids don't do that. Kids are very real. And so again, yes, Charles, you have a challenge there. But the children, they came to this earth for one thing. They didn't come here to be brainwashed. And yeah, you've got the cameras and stuff on you. I know, it's a challenge. And so we see it in futuristic movies. We're all being watched, and we are. And they're recording this right here. I know any of the Skypes that I talk on, or whatever I'm talking about on the real side, they're listening, they're watching. And so it becomes a very interesting situation for all of us. So do we do it? Do we hesitate? Or do we do something? Do we do anything? You see? So, yeah, all these ideas, again, from the corporation and what have you, and the people there, it's really kind of too bad. I confront them once in a while, simply because, they're trapped, and they're adding. They don't see it to where they're adding to the deception. They think that they're doing a service when they're really doing a disservice. And if they could only go see Marjorie Klemp on the real side and see her, how she's just way worse off than when she started this life. This is how it's gotten to be, and we got to deal with it. So, yeah, again, I would suggest where you're at, etc. Try to contact some of the environmental organizations, and kind of work your way creatively through that. That's what we're doing with the college and other things here. We're doing what we can until something else comes up. But I have other things going, but at the same time, need agreement. It takes a lot, and Claudia and I have been working on this a long time just to get it to the point where we got agreement on the real side for this to start to take place. Yeah, and the boys go through the same thing too. They're sharing. They've went through the membership and whatever, but for the most part, just like Sandy and Bob experienced while they were at the seminar, people are resisting because again, they want their la la land, they want their personal life. Well, the new presentation is where you step up. You be a supporter. This is how you earn your way. And it's not, there was another fellow that was with one of the richest families in the world that passed over recently, and he thought just because he knew the real guides and this and a little knew you, he'd be fine. He's worse off. And he's got this big attachment attitude and arrogance still that he had here. He took it with him over there. He didn't pay attention. I suggest pay attention. You must earn your way every moment, every day. There's no free ride. There's no la-la land. It's about survival. Pay attention to the guides and make sense, etc. Because, yeah, again, it's not going to get better. It's not, things are not going to get back to normal. It's just that we have to deal with them as they are because they don't want them normal at all. Look at all the video games in the world that the kids play, and they have video contests around the world, and they're all about shooting and killing and destroying. Everybody's programmed to do this nonsense. The movies are the same way. So you really have to make sense and look at things how they are. So this is why Ava, I've been with Ava over 5 years. We've created thousands of images. Ava and I have been together every single day, an average of 8 hours a day. This is all I do. And so even Ava tells some of her friends, oh, you want to go out for coffee or do something? She goes, no, I'm on Skype. And they think that's a little funny. And I tell my friends too, I'm always on Skype because I see this is the most important before any personal life that I have. Unfortunately, Kelsey and others have stepped up too, because this is why we're here. And any day, you know what, just like the Congo, just like Iran and these other countries that we had association with, they're shut down. And it's going to become more so because they see us coming. That's how real it is. They see us coming, and we're really coming, and they are doing everything they can to shut things down here and there. They'll shut down the whole state. They'll create a storm just because Claudia's in the Gulf there, which will affect the whole state. They'll flood the whole state just because she's there. Or they'll do freezing temperatures where Sandy is, below zero, just because she's there. They'll do it to the whole state and the whole East Coast, you see? This is how they are. They don't care. Yeah, so it's really wake-up time. It's really time to step up and ask yourself, what comes first? Is it your personal life? Do you have a job career that you're going for? Or is it that you you turn things around because you only have so much time, and maybe it's tomorrow or the next day, and all of a sudden you got nothing, you got no electricity. I'm really surprised that all the years they did the drought thing here, I thought they were going to continue the drought. Well, they do in their own way, but now we've got rain the last few years here, because I can see them very easily creating drought, stopping the water, and then they bring all the military in. They take everybody out of their houses, put them in FEMA camps, bring the military in, and hey, now the military has all these neat homes in Orange County and LA and San Diego County to live in, and they take over. I'm surprised they haven't done that, because it would be very easy for them, and everybody else is in FEMA camps. This is the real world here. This is human farming. Yes, and there's many alien factors here. So we do have a struggle. This is how real it gets. So it's not to be alarmed about it, but it's to wake up to it. And those that support what we're doing, because we support the real guides, it really makes a difference. I've seen so many people come and go, and they just go off on their own. Well, to earn your way, you really step up and support what we're doing, and you'll be shown, because, again, there is a difference. So, yes, Charles, we're all in it together, all these little things, and we inspire each other. You inspire me. I learn so much from everybody else, and so I keep on it, and I really appreciate people stepping up, because, again, trying to show others that, hey, you're not exempt. from any of this. You're all part of it. And yes, one person can make a difference then to the next. If it's person to person, just like I went out there for 30 years when I was in the corporation and did introductory lectures and everything I could. And yes, it's easier here in the United States, but it wouldn't matter where I'm at. I would go do it. I would go person to person. I would do something, every moment. This would be on, the challenge would always be my focus with what I'm doing and my business, etc. The challenge of this was always my focus. And it's hard here too, because again, people are very self-convinced. See, they like their la-la land here, and their la-la land comes first, and all their little thrills, etc. Well, all of a sudden, one day, it's not working anymore. And that day will come unless people wake up. So we're doing something, you're doing something, yes.